Hello, Odd Job Doer here, and today we got a little special surprise for someone. Well, kind of. This is a little job that I'm doing for someone to surprise someone else. And what it is we got a 2006 Toyota Sienna, and we have this older, stock factory stereo here, and they've had a little problem with I think the discs kind of like not coming in and out right. Sometimes it gets stuck in there, or a read error. And so they decided to upgrade to Pioneer NEX system, an AVH-1330NEX. It does CDs, DVDs, has a USB. As you can see right down there, there's a remote control in case you want to let someone in the back seat change stations and stuff. They talk about the HD there. For where's my giant finger? Right there, HD for high definition radio. Not too sure if that's available everywhere. And so the plan today is to take out this old one, put in the new one over here, which actually looks like this right here. And yeah. And then they'll have some new tunes. They'll have the option to have a USB drive hooked up, and that holds plenty of MP3s, WMA files, FLAC. I think that's a brand or a type of recording now. Or they can even watch DVDs, but the DVD thing is a little tricky. That you used to have them, I think, where you install them on the negative of the parking brake, so they knew that you were not driving your vehicle at the time. And some people figured out you could just cheat it by installing the negative to just a ground. And you can watch DVDs and drive around town. But really, these people don't care about the DVD feature at all. They just want new stereo, play CDs, and can do digital stuff. So, some tools that we'll need for this job here are pretty simple. Well, let's see, we'll need one of these here. Yeah, screwdriver. This particular one has a Phillips on one side. This thing pulls out as you're slotted. And so there's that. And then we'll have a socket set here. That's going to be needed to help get the stereo in and put it back out. You will need, depending on how you do this, probably need some kind of a wire cutter and wire crimper like this right here. You see here it has like the different sizes here for crimping. There's like a little cutting thing in here. And other parts you'll need, it depends on what you're doing, but basically what doesn't come with this thing is these harnesses here. You can buy these, and instead of taking out the old stereo, cutting those wires off and pairing them up to the new stereo wires that come with the new stereo, you get this harness deal and you pair those up to the new wires, and that saves your original wiring, because on the end of these things here, these plugs should fit the factory wiring. And so when you wire these into the new stereo wires, you just plug this part into the stereo, the new one, plug these into the old connectors, and easy peasy. And those connectors, usually what you'll do, and I'll show them here in a little bit, is that you'll use something called a butt connector, or a butt splice connector here. Here's some. And what you do basically is you take the wires and you put one in one side and one on the other side, and you crimp on both sides. So there's that kind, or there's another kind here. See, on this little fancy deal, that little white one there at the bottom, I guess actually the bottom center or left, the little picture there. What that is you take the wires, you twist them together, you slip that thing over it, and you just crimp that. So I might use some of those. And another thing here is these little guys. They're hard to see, but these are a quick splice. So if I get this correctly, you take the wire that you want to splice into another wire, like a hot maybe, and you put both wires in the tube thing down here, and then you flip the door thing over, and there's metal in here that will cut into each wire and splice them together. Now, another thing is you have this dash like so, and this was made with, you know, factory installs and stuff, but when you take out the built-in factory radio and put in, you know, the square one that looks like that, what you need is something like this right here. That right there will, for one, you know, holds the new radio in there, and it will replace the shape of here. And so before you try to install, you know, a new stereo radio into a vehicle, make sure you have this kind of a, you know, part here so it looks and fits right. And is that it for parts? That's it for extra parts that you might need, I think. The other thing is, let's see, so I already showed you the wiring harness that came with the new stereo. Then you have a, you know, some of the new ones have this little microphone deal, wire. This here hooks in the back and will let you actually take a phone call on your stereo, so you can do hands-free. Another important thing here is we got the USB extended cable. This goes in the back of the unit, and this other part will go more likely into the glove box. And so you can put in a USB drive in there, play hundreds of thousands of songs or whatever, and not have to worry about not having music. That's good. This here came with the stereo. A couple bags of screws to help mount it to the new holder. And I think that is about it. You already saw, let's see, we got this here fancy remote control. Yeah, so people in the back can operate it if the driver falls asleep and doesn't want to change music. And yeah, that's about it for the extra parts, I think. And then, oh, the other thing that you'll probably need that doesn't come included are some these zip ties, little zip ties that you can use with wire management. And you know, especially if you have to route wires. Like I know one wire has to go to the parking brake, you know, and then the other wire, oh, well, okay, so I'm thinking about the wire that goes to the microphone that I already showed you. That microphone wire, you know, this can go by the visor, or it can go, you know, down here somewhere. You can put on the column. So where that wire goes, you just kind of, you know, keep the wires together. Now this right here, this is the back of the unit. And this particular one has this little yellow connector. That's for a GPS system, which is optional. Now, if you're thinking about buying a GPS system to add to a unit, you might as well just buy a unit that has the GPS system with it. Because I think when I was looking at it, like they were like $400. And even though this unit was on sale, I don't think the GPS units ever really go on sale. And if you don't buy them with it, you have to buy them from, I think, you know, Pioneer or a certain company direct. And so what else we have here are some RCAs out. And there's, for this particular one, there's some video out. And I believe there's a video in. And there's some, let's see, some RCAs in here. So if you want to add like some kind of an external DVD player or something like that, you can. They don't want any of that stuff. The RCA outs are usually good for if you're taking the fronts, I think, rears or subwoofers to an amp, you know, to get more boost to your music. That's an option there. And they don't care about that stuff either. They just want more like a standard install. This little thing down here, that little hole, that is for your antenna. So your antenna wire will plug in there. And here, of course, you got like a little fan to keep things cool. Over here, let's see what you got. You got the mic install. You have a Sirius radio connection if you have that Sirius audio stuff, Sirius XM. And then down here you have, kind of hard to see, but it is the USB part there. And this particular one I think offers a charging. So if you have something like a cell phone that you hook up to this, besides streaming your music from the cell phone, you can also charge your cell phone as you drive around. And let's see, got like a 10 amp fuse here, which is horrible if it ever blows, because then you have to take this whole thing out and get to that little fuse. And then here's where the plug goes in for your wiring harness that came with this. So yeah, this plug in there. And I think that's pretty much covered most of it. I know there was an auxiliary remote control for one of these things. Not going to be used, and the other thing's not going to be used. So, before anything else, before you start, the first thing you do is, turn your vehicle on, whatever, and hit the eject button. Make sure nothing's in there. So yeah, there's a CD in here, and so we'll take that out and toss it somewhere, and the rest is done. So yeah, so take the CD out, and the next thing we'll do is we'll pop the hood and disconnect the negative battery cable. Alright, so this is out here. We have the hood popped up. We got ourselves a battery, and this here is what, 10 millimeter. So I'm just gonna get on this thing and get it kind of loosened up. Yeah. Alright, get enough of that. Put off this side so it doesn't snap back and give you a little shock later. So I got that off, and it looks pretty clean. Sometimes I like to, when I mess with batteries, I like to clean the terminals while I'm doing something, but that's fine. Alright, we'll go back inside now. Alright, so we're back inside now, and another thing that's kind of handy to have if you don't turn the vehicles too much is something like this here. See? Little Chiltons or Haynes, if they make them still, guide on how to tear open a vehicle. And one of the things that it'll help you with is how to get into your stereo. And so you don't want to just, jab and poke everything. But from what it's saying here, you take your self a flat tool and just kind of try to pull this thing aside. So let me work on that here. From working on vehicles and this plastic stuff, is that usually the older the vehicle, the more brittle your plastics become. Now here I actually started prying at the bottom and kind of worked my way up, and I got my fingers in here. Oops. And I get up to the top, and presto. Kind of comes out like so. Minus this top part here, which just happened to snap off. So, yay. A little bit of super glue, hold that back on. Yeah. Hope my friend doesn't watch this. And now, look at stuff, but basically this right here, this is not what you care about. What we care about is only back in here, and even back further. You got that screws right there, and the one back in there. Those two are going to be the ones we need to get to with the socket set to pull this out. Now, granted, there is probably two more on the other side, so let's just see how I can snap and break the other side. I'll start at the bottom again, keeping in mind that, yes. This one's even tighter. There we go. Get in here, get up in here a little bit, and this time try to be careful at the top. You can probably take this dash protector out too if it's bugging you, but I think I got this one. Yeah, there we go. So, you know, with the sun and stuff beating down this stuff, it makes the plastic weak. Now then, we got that there taken care of. And next we'll grab for a socket. We already know that outside it was 10 millimeter. And so, you know what? I just happen to have millimeters here. And I'm thinking I'm going to go start with a 12. Or 11, actually. Let's see here. Nope. Maybe I should have stuck with a 10 millimeter. Yeah, there we go. So it's a 10 millimeter, and to get the one in the back, guess what? I need a better extension. So I'm gonna go find an extension, and I will be back. In fact, I'll get an extension and take out all these bolts. Alright, so after a wave of my magic 10 millimeter long extension, got these bolts out, and this thing here should just lift on out. The top part has a, the top part has a little part that hooks in there too. Let me double check that. But it should come out. Maybe we'll come back here and give a little lift on this thing, or is it under? Let's see. There, pop that up. Okay, so this pops up like, ugh. Alright, don't know where we breathe. So this here pops up and has some little press down things here, and a hook on the back. It wasn't too bad, but this does hook up underneath the stereo. So we'll take that out and throw it somewhere. And now, get out of there. Alright, so this is the main gist of it here. You know, wires don't go forever. But crank it around here. And so I'll try to zoom in a little bit better. What we got here is your antenna wires going up in here, and that can be pulled out straight. And then you got 3 different things. So usually there might be a little clip at the bottom like this one has. So I'm actually getting my finger up underneath there and pushing in this clip to pull out the wire. And it looks like they all have a little clip at the bottom. Strong fingers help here, believe me. So we got those 2 out, and rest around this way. One more there. Nice. Right. Now the good thing is, I checked earlier and got that CD out. Because had I not done that, I would have had to take this whole thing apart and, you know, get out the other way. Alright, so we got the old one out triumphantly, and we got a big gaping hole there in the dash now, all tore up, so that's nice. And I can show you now a little oddness, because I got 3 of these wires here coming out, and my wiring harness only has 2. This one here should fit this one. This one here should fit this big one. And nothing fits this white one. Sad. Do I need that stuff? Hope not. Maybe I'll do a little research to figure out what those wires were. But, nah. Nobody cares. And, it's on the way back up in here. Push that in. You got your antenna wire. you know, make sure that thing here comes out. You don't lose that back in the dash. And otherwise, we're ready to do some other stuff. So, moving on here. The package, you have to locate your manual for your stereo, Pioneer. And in there, on the wiring and diagram, which I believe is page 2, they show you here all the wires that go to the harness right here. It shows you what each one of these do. Like some of them say like reverse gear, that's for if you have a backup camera, which they don't. You have a mute thing there. You got a blue one, which normally is your system remote control. Maybe I should try to get on camera. Right there, system remote control. That's if you have like an amp or even like an electronic antenna. When you turn this unit, it turns on the amp and antenna. So these wires here, I will take from the color coding and go off of this list. And with the harness that we got, these wires, they're on the back of the package. So it says, like, for instance, 12 volt ignition is the red one. Yeah, it's kind of messed up here. But like a 12 volt memory, I think that's a yellow one, which it normally is. Ground usually always is black. Power antenna goes to the blue. And, or it's blue one, I should say. And so you match up the colors. And so the other one, this one here just has two, purples and greens. So I'm pretty much sure what that's going to be is your violet black, your green black. Those are for your right and rear speakers. So we know this one here is just for speakers, and it hooks up to this little block one right here. So that's pretty much your speaker wires. Your power and everything else comes off this other one. And now if there's not a negative ground off that, you have to run the negative from this to a piece of metal in your car, which really isn't too hard because there's metal back there. There's even a pole you can go into. There's sometimes there's just stuff back there. All right, so I will set up to work on that next. I'll be back. All right, so wiring connections. So we have the harness here that goes to the back of the stereo, and I've centered these here, the violets. One of these violets is just violet. The other one has a violet with a black stripe. The black stripe one, this particular one in the manual says, goes to the right rear speaker. Now, the other one, this little connector with the 4 connectors, this only goes to rear speakers. And it too has violets. The thing that's kind of like, is that this connector here has some thicker gauge wire than the one that comes with the stereo. And I always like to see, stereo wire being a little bit more thicker, having more, more oomph to it. And so now what we'll do here is find our wire tool, which has gone amiss. Where'd you go, wire tool? Behind here? Nope. Oh, and I've also found out that this connector, you see up in here, right up in here, this one here, part of what it is on the old system, you have this auxiliary. You should pull it up and then do like a little, 1/8" pin in there to do music. So that's going to be a little bit obsolete now. They won't care. They have USB now. That's fine. And meanwhile, there's the wire cutters. So the ones that you have here, what I like to do is kind of gauge it by putting the wire through the holes. And I'm pretty sure this is a small 18 size wire. So you just get down here and you crimp it. And no, this is a 20 to 22. And you give it a pull. Now that didn't do anything. Let me try again. These crimpers are supposed to cut and strip. There you go. And then, toss that place something else. Get rid of the garbage. And this one here, same thing. I'll get it like that and strip it out. Oops. either my wire strippers are getting dull or they're just trying to give you cheaper wires every time you try to buy something. There we go. Now, got that thing stripped out. So then what I'll do here is I'll give the wires a twist to make them one solid wire. And twist these up here. And they're kind of long, right? And the reason why they're kind of long is I like to fold them over and make it actually a thicker connector. Now, where these are going to be connecting to are these over here. And this company's nice enough to have already pre-stripped. So when you have like this, like just, give a little twist as I pull off the ends. And you have something like that, nice and twisted. Now, connector one, what I'll do is I'll take the black striped wire here, the purple and black, and I'll take the purple and black here, and I'll take these and I'll twist them together, which at this point is just wrapping the one flimsier one around the other one. You get like so, and then I'll use this little top hat deal from the one kit, and you just slide it in there. So you get a little snaggletooth. Slide in here like so, and make sure it's up in there so you got the wire. So no wires hang out the bottom, and all the wires are in the top. And there's a metal ring there. And take your little crimper, and this particular one is probably the 22 to 18 gauge. I should grab it here, and just simply, come down to the beginning part, and I give it a squeeze, and I go to the end part, and I give it a squeeze. And sometimes I'll even find a little extra spot to squeeze without cutting the thing in half. And there, that connection should be done. I give it a pull, both wires, make sure they're stuck in there. And yes, connection's done. Now I will whip this one around here and get the other. This here's just solid purple. No black line on it. So this is basically the positive for the speaker. Same thing, give a nice twist. And I'll get the connector, slip it on the same way. And give that a nice crimp. 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 Make sure it's tight. If you do pull it and it comes out, then chances are you have to just get another connector and do it again, same way. Now the other ones, if I'm looking in the manual correctly, are green and black. So I'll get those two pulled out from this wire mess. Green and blacks. And this one also has green and blacks. Let me check. So the back of this one here that came with the adapter, the green and black is for the left rear. Now I'll look in the manual over here with the speakers, and I'll check the left rear. It says it's a number 11 and 12, and then 11 and 12 just happens to be green and black. So once again, take these guys, give them a twist, pull them off, and do the same with the other side. Thinking, man, they got some thin wires on this stuff. There we go. They'll strip off a little better. I like to twist them again. I don't know if you can see that. Probably got too much hand in there. And twist this here. Alright, give them a bend over in half, kind of give that a little twist on itself. And now then, the other connector that I have here available are right here. Now this is the part that I'll talk a little bit more about. If you're really an audiophilia, you really like your high tunes, or maybe if you live in a place where corrosion might be a problem, instead of taking these and putting these kind of connectors on, which are quick, easy, and simple, you take these wires, you'll tie them to the other side, to these wires here now. You twist them together, then you'll take some solder and go over that. And before all that, before you actually solder them, you get something called shrink tube, which looks like this black stuff here. And so you put this on the wire, you do the solder connection, you slide this back over the connector, and then you use a heat gun, and it'll actually shrink this shrink tube down to a pretty tight fitting that will keep the other wire job from grounding out. But I have done many stereos like this. I think I've done a stereo with the soldering, and you know what? I don't hear or see a difference in performance. So now, this one here is a little bit different type of a connector. The butt connector. So I got my green wire here, and I got my green wire over here. And what you do with these things is you take the butt connector and you just put the wire in one end here, as far as it goes. Might have to give it a little twist sometimes. And then you take the other wire and you put it in here as far as it goes. I'm going to crimp this bulb here a little bit because I thickened it up. And slide it in like so. No, I want to go. Okay, well, give it some of this action. Very carefully give it a little extra squeeze. And okay, so slide that one in, making sure it's the right one, slide it in. That should be in there good. And then you take your crimp and you crimp both sides here. One side, two side. Give it a pull. Like to hold the connector, give this a pull, that's tight. This side, that's tight. Alright, so that's another way to do the butt connector. And now I'll go through the manual, read everything, connect all these things up to both harnesses, because I still got this one needs stuff done to it. And we'll get back to you. Alright, look at that. So we got all done. We got the connections all put together. We got negatives, we got speakers, we got power stuff. And so this here goes to the back of the machine. This here goes into the pre-done factory wiring. So, except for this white one here. We've got this little one here. Make sure it goes in. It only goes in one way. Yep, click it in. This one here goes in one way. Oops. Don't want to mash wires either. Sometimes these things get a little bit off course. Okay. There we go. That should be good. And this thing here, I guess we'll just kind of hang out in here. And this thing here goes in the back of the new stereo. But we can kind of give this stuff a little shove. Up in here somewhere. And there. That's a little bit neater now. Now what we got to deal with is we keep our antenna one out in handy. We'll just stick it right here in the vent. And then we have this green one here that goes back down through there. And it will go, let's see here, it'll actually go down through there and down to the bottom. And over here we've got the the brake. You can see down there. Well, push on off. So that is the parking brake. And somewhere at the top of that is going to be the switch. Parking brake switch. Alright, so, and we can't forget this one, our USB. We're going to kind of untwist these wire here, see how much we got to deal with. Enough. This part here, we're going to try to make it into the glove box, I believe. From here, it's going to go in the back here. So I'm going to actually get out and probably go over to this side here. We got the glove box, and I can drop it down a little bit to look up inside so I can get it for easy reach, or I could just try to fish this down, you know, back in here. It's kind of opened up in there, so you should be able to get things moved around. And then last but not least, I will try to get the microphone and install that some way that they could find useful. So, yeah, microphone, kind of neat. Alright, so I'm going to try to do all these connection things, and or wiring things, and I'll get back after I break my back, twisting around, and doing different things. Alright, so here's what I did. For this part here, I took this thing off from this little clasp, give this box a squeeze to get this here past the edge, and I dropped the box down. Then feeding it up from in here, we had to come down right in here, see? So that right there should be good enough. I don't need 4 foot of it hanging out, so I'll just kind of, you know, feed more of it back up through here and pull it out from here. Try not to get any sharp metal pieces or whatnot. And that's going to go right into the glove box when I'm done. I'll leave a little bit out here to put the stereo in and push it back. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, so for the microphone, for your phone hookup link, I decided to try to put it through this little thing here. I took this thing away. Maybe your van has some there, maybe it doesn't. And I'm sticking this wire up through here. And it comes up and it's right there in the glove box. Well, not the glove box, the cavity of sound. And so I wanted to attach this little microphone to it somehow and very carefully fish it down and hope that it comes out this hole. So we'll see what happens. Alright, success. A little dark in here now, but as you can see, it's gone through the hole there. I can't see that any better. Maybe it's through the dash at the bottom there, and that should be good enough for speaking. You know, driver speaking, whatever. And so we have a lot of this slack left over, so I will wad it all up and you know, put a twisty tie back on it to secure it. But warning, when you stick your hands in through here, look at that. Look at that blood. But don't worry, I've been through worse. So we got those two in, and I talked to the guy that wants this, and he says, you know what, don't worry about the DVD wire, because they don't really want to do that anyways. So for now, I will bound up that DVD wire and put it in the back, and not worry about it. Now, if the whole thing doesn't work at all without it, then yeah, I'll go back and fix it. But if it does work, he doesn't care about watching DVDs while he drives or stops. You know, that's what home theaters are for. So let me move on here. I'll tidy up these wires and get ready to work on probably the console, you know, maybe this thing here, this thing here, you know, the stereo goes in here somehow. So work on that. I'll be right back. Alright, for this kit here, we have a plastic part like so, plastic part like this, another one like that. So you basically want to reassemble it with this thing here. Just kind of snaps in, doesn't really snap in there, but fits in the front edge right here. Same with this one here. Twist her around and get in there. Alright, so that's in there now. And now you want to take your stereo head unit and slide it back in there. And grab some random cushiony item. And let's see here. You can see this is going to be tight, so it's going to keep these things from sliding back out. This is going to go down to where you want to add some screws. So pretty much all the way to the front. And on the sides you have some holes here you can see lining up, and some don't. And the holes on the machine are lettered, you know, T, N, R's. So I believe you use the same ones for those. And you have, once you get the pack of screws that came with it, I'm going to use the pan head ones. And basically find out where's a good fit for these and screw them in. Right now it's a little bit, needs to be a little bit more front. Yeah, that's looking good there. And I can see more of them line up. Alright. So we'll mount the screws. Make sure you use the screws that come with it so they're not too long with the hitting the wires or electronics on the inside. So I'll get this here all put together and we'll go back out to the vehicle. Alright, so what happened? It got dark. Unfortunately that happens sooner than later around here. But let's see if we can finish this up here. Because basically all we got to do now is we have the antenna coming out right here. And it hooks down that antenna hole I showed you earlier. And got that in there. And then we have the wiring harness. Oh, there's a slightly good view maybe. I don't know. Wiring harness that has all your wires to. And that I believe needs to twist and, whoops, there we go. Pops in like so. Has a tab on the top. And like I said, I can't see, probably even worse than what you guys can see right now. Alright, lined up and pushed in. There. Now I will temporarily give this all a little shove here. And yes, like that. Look at that Betamus, right? Looks horrible in the dark. Okay, now I'm going to go reconnect the power, the battery, and come back and see if this basically works. So I'll be right back. Alright, now for the moment of truth. We got the thing in there temporarily installed, put the key in, turn to the on position. Oh. Pioneer loading, that's a good sign. Let's say they probably want English. Touchscreen. Maybe we gotta read the manual again. Oh, it is touchscreen. Boop, beep, boop. Speaker mode settings. Maybe I should have read the manual on this stuff. So, speaker mode settings. Let me see. Do we need the light on? No. We'll try filming in the dark. A little romance here. So, this is a setup here. Do not use the unit in standard mode when a speaker system for network mode is connected to the unit. It may cause damage to the speakers in my car. You know, I think we just have standard mode in this thing. So, we'll do okay. Warning, read all safety instructions, the product documentation, blah, blah, blah. Serious death or injury. Oh, I didn't finish it. Okay, so we know HD's radio. Alright, so let's see if we can find something here.
Miles and Peter Parker.
Alright. So we got some tunes. What else can we do here? There's the volume here down. Alright, yeah. Oh, look at that, you can mute it. Oh, sweet. When you go up to the drive-thru, you want to order something, just hit mute. Alright, so then we got some other buttons here, like a microphone, a back. What does the back button do? Okay, it turns you to this. Alright, so we got some settings here. Power off, source off, audio video, iPod. So there's no disc in there. And Bluetooth, I don't have that. Spotify, what's this here? We got some settings, right? Settings? Nope. Alright, well, let's go back here. Nah, let's go with this button. Okay, from here, does it do anything? No. Got a phone thing. Oh, we got a settings thing there. Bam. Favorites, unregistered. What's this do? Source, beep tone on. Auto mix on, input, output settings, camera settings. Slide down here. Sorry, there's like a little touch tab. System language, restore settings, keyboard, touch panel, driving position. Yeah, left. System information. Nah, who cares about that? What's this? Colors. Background illumination, theme, clock. Clock. Do that later. What's that? Graphic equalizer set to powerful. Here we go, fader. We'll see if we did this right. So, while I'm up, we'll bring it all the way to the front. Like I was saying, so we brought it all the way up to the front here, and let me see here. Sound, mute level, fader balance. What's going on here? Okay, fader balance. Fader balance. So we brought it to the front, now do the right side. Yep, over to the right, back to the left. I'll take it on back to the rear. That sounds like it's back left. And finally the back right. Yep. So that means the speakers are all hooked up right. You hear them clear. And I'll put them back to center. Yeah, then we got, let's see, back here. Mute level. ACT mute off. I'll just do that for now. Subwoofer off. And again, subwoofer loudness. Hi. Yeah, that sounds rich. Yeah, boost up to high. Automatic level control off. Might have to do a manual, or I'll have to do a manual read about this stuff. Let's see, we have a disc looking thing. DVD setup. Time per photo slide. Video signal settings. We don't have anything for that. What does DVD setup? What does it do? Well, all kinds of settings for that. And we got, let's see, back. Something about Bluetooth here, ain't gonna work. Alright, I got a back button over here. Back to this. What does that do? Not that. Oh, that shows some stations here. That don't do anything. Alright, that's fine. Oh. What did I do?
This is living proof.
Oh, here's a song. Equalizer. Oh, that's beautiful. Super bass. Wow. Alright, so what I'm getting at here is that this works now. Now, next thing to do will be to turn it off, pull it back out, and put in the USB. So, you know what? I think I'll just do that for now. And I can't see nothing again. There we go. So, okay, so we got that done. I'll pull it out. I'll put the USB in. I'll put the mic wire in for the little mic, which is down there. And then I'll be back ready to put it back in there carefully and bolt it down. So, I'll get back to so we basically got the screws down here tightened up. Same on the other side. Was back here. Make sure nothing's pinching. And now it's time to put some stuff back together, which is basically just in reverse. Alright, so I believe this thing here goes in first. Now there's a little lip at top here. I can get this up here. Where it slides in under. Let's see here. I don't think it goes like that. I think it goes under this lip here. Nope. There it goes. Slides in like that. And then this one here just pushes down. There, step one done. This around like so. And let's see, we got this part here. This guy here. You line back up in there and you know, see where it goes. It goes way up in here and down lower. Poor thing's been out so long, it doesn't know how to get back to where it belongs. There, that's pretty good there. Minus the other piece I'll glue in later. And then we'll go to this side here. And same thing. Get this thing out of the way, especially at the top. And get your wires in there and line up your connecting snapping thingies. See what's going on up here. Up there it kind of slides in like so. Okay, so that's done. Useless doing that anymore. And there, that thing is installed. The only thing left is we have this extra piece here, which goes on the top. Yeah, it has a curve, so it goes like this. Probably like it better if I cleaned it. So that goes snapping around. Makes it look even more built in than it used to be. Yeah, there it is. I don't know. Job's done. Get this thing a little turn on again. You know, maybe if I come back in the daytime, it might look horrible, but I'll check it out. All right, so we got stuff. HD blue. Read that a mile away. Power off, huh? Power off the unit, sure. All right. So that's pretty much done. I mean, if there's any other problems, you know, I'm sure I'll hear about it later. But now the only thing left to do is to clean up this mess. And well, if you've been watching the video this long, thanks for watching. And if you have any other ideas or suggestions that you want me to try to do in the future, then, you know, let me know in the comments down below. And, you know, thanks for watching. Sorry it got dark here, but that's what happens. Yeah, I'm going to put this here back, and I can adjust all that stuff later. So, this is the Odd Job Doer. Got a nice little install here for some people. And, yeah. Thanks for watching. Odd Job Doer, out. Oh, that's right. I gotta turn this thing off. Yeah. And stay tuned. Hopefully I'll get some more videos hooked up. And Merry Christmas to everyone.